What was the most unexpected problem on this project that you had to solve? How did you deal with it?
I think one of the most unexpected problems that I had to solve on this project was probably with machine learning. And the reason I say that is because it's something that I've never learned before. Um, I've never actually I didn't fully understand it, to be honest. But the way I solved it, or let me give a more context actually. The problem was with not knowing where to begin with machine learning. The project was to basically take in crop rows, and then what the machine learning would do is process those images and then segment them out to show where the crops are at. I didn't know where to start with that at all, and that was one of the big problems. And so what I did is I did a lot of research and went to a lot of forums. There was a Reddit forum just for machine learning. I went on there, talked to some people, kind of just chatted with them, kind of just to see to get a starting point. From there, once I did that, I also checked Stack Overflow, checked GitHub. They had some forums on there, and just kind of even talked to some instructors on where to begin. Comes to find out that we ended up using a thing called Mask RCNN to do it, a model. And then from there, kind of just use TensorFlow as well to kind of figure it out. And so that's the way I went ahead and actually solved the issue about it as well. So just did a lot of research and talked to a lot of people.
Based on your work on this project, how has your view of software engineering changed, and why?
So my view of software engineering has changed actually for the better. And the reason I say that is because before I didn't fully understand software engineering, I guess you would say. I just thought, oh, it was just writing code, or oh, it's just kind of maybe doing UML diagrams, kind of stuff like that. But I fully understood what it meant to be a software engineer. You're taking something that is nothing, and from the ground floor, which we did on this project, or I did on this project with my team, and you're creating diagrams, you're designing it, you're actually writing code, and the code wasn't. I thought software engineering was that's it's all just about code, and it is, but it's not at the same time. It's structuring it. It's trying to work with your team even. It's you're planning out ahead the whole entire software from beginning to end. The thought phase of, okay, what are we going to do, how are we going to do it, how are we going to solve it, then into, okay, well, now that we know how we're kind of having to solve it, we're going to have to research and figure out actually how we're going to implement it, and then the implementation phase, and then kind of just working together and getting all this done. So software engineering has definitely changed in my mind. I actually fully now understand what it means to become a software engineer and what it is to be a software engineer as well. And this project has definitely helped. Again, it's not just, hey, here's an assignment, do this, this, and this. It's nobody really telling you how to do it. It's just, this is kind of what I want, figure it out. And obviously, I had to speak with the customer, had to figure out his wants and needs, maybe even change some of his stuff. But yeah, that's how my thoughts have changed as a software engineer.
If you had this project to do all over again, what would you do differently, and why?
I think what I would do differently if I had this project to start all over again would be to maybe probably communicate a little better with my team going forward of whose plan or who's responsible for what, and maybe making others more accountable for those responsibility, and maybe just breaking up the tasks into much smaller tasks. Essentially, a lot of times what happened was the the project that we were doing or the tasks that were given were very large, and they felt over cumbersome. It almost felt as if it was like, wow, I'm never going to be able to solve this. And we, of course, use Scrum, but we still got stuck in the idea of the user story being too big and even the task almost being too broad. So I think if I was to start it all over again, I would communicate with my team. I would make sure that they were more responsible and more accountable for the tasks they were doing. And then I would break down the task into more manageable tasks, maybe not even just manageable, but make them very small, where not only where it felt like you were making progress, but mentally it was like, okay, I finished this, and then I could go to the next step and the next step, instead of saying, hey, I want to annotate all these crops, or I want to train a model. For instance, in my case, train a model. It seems so daunting, but if you broke it down into very minute tasks, it felt like you were accomplishing more, and it was easier to fully understand it. So those are the things I would change if I could do this all over again.